So a couple of things I want to talk to you about is where we go with the center, regardless of width and based on length, but really that's something we can talk about. So I have this. This is a mock-up of, or a quick photo of the original window. And so the entire window design is based on this. This bevel cluster and this element. So really those are two elements that we're talking about. So this element for a long side window, I would usually recommend bringing this element up to the top, and you can see there's an 1.5 inch border here and an 1.5 inch border here, and we're really talking about, with this black line, we're talking about this 5 inches here, 5.5 inches. 1.5 inches brings us up to 7. So this is the 7-inch wide window, which again is this black mark. So you have this element here, and as I said, this is actually an element, and this is actually an element, and then I build off of this. Usually, if I'm going to do that as the top piece, I leave the pieces of plain glass at the top and at the bottom. It doesn't have to be this much plain glass, but this element plus these increments, which are 2 1/8 of an inch, 2 1/8 inch increments. You can build off of this. It adds 2 1/8 inch to this each time you add one of these things here. So we'll have to talk about how much you want to fill and how much you want to have left over, but I've also calculated all of that too. But really what we're talking about is maybe moving this element, as in this window, moving this element to the top and building off of it for the bottom. So that is step one, is deciding the orientation of that particular element, and that is not set in stone, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so they're not oriented correctly, but that's not really what I'm worried about. If you will look over here, you will notice I have 2 of these elements left in the shop. They're the only 2 I'll ever have. They don't exist anymore. So I'm going to go on. This is going to be a very short video. I'm going to go on to my next question, and I'm going to chat with you about a couple of things.